Felicia here. Another week done. I get done and there's like this moment of excitement that you're done with it, but then there's this sadness because it's over. But then there's the excitement again because you know that it's just a few days until the next one comes out. I will put at the end some of the footage I have about making this. It's really hard to video these because you kind of tinker at them and poke at them and then you walk away and you come back. I do. Anne whips through hers in 10 minutes and she's done, and I have to let me sit on it for a little while. So my desk exploded, as you can tell. Aren't they pretty? So sharp. I used pretty much everything I said I was going to use, and it turned out pretty much like I'd hoped it would. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but I had a general idea, and yeah. So okay, clean off some stuff. All right, so here's the tag, okay? Let me kind of explain it in case you don't want to go through the how I made it part, because it's boring and you can't see much. And honestly, it's just really hard to video this kind of stuff. So I made the yo-yos. I think they called it a Suffolk something. I don't know. I call them yo-yos. I made the yo-yos. I'll have to admit, that was the hardest part of the whole tag. I struggled. These are like version 5 and 6 of me trying to figure out how to make these. And I finally figured out, well, what I was struggling with is by the time I got all the way around, it had frayed and it was coming through the edges. And so I finally took my circle that I cut out with my circle die, and I fray checked all the way around it with, fray check. Just the very microscopic end, and I let that dry. And then it was like super easy to fold over and sew. Yes, I'm over the top. What can I say? But it worked for me, and I finally got two that looked like I wanted to. If I wanted to do great big ones, it would have been easy, but I wanted littler ones. Anyways, so I got those made, and I made those out of this fabric here that I got from Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. It's beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? And the backing, of course, I did out of this one. Then I wanted to do leaves, and I couldn't figure out how to do leaves, and I was looking at the stuff, and I was gonna I did a stem stitch underneath for a stem. I should have woven some lighter stuff in there so they kind of stood out, but you know what? Whatever. I like how it turned out. But I was looking at this lace, and what I ended up doing was I cut the two leaves out of...
It's 11:45.
I forgot. Out of a couple pieces of lace. So I laid them on there, and I took some floss, and I just covered them up and used them as a 3D element for the leaves. I added some little French knots here and there around there. And then I had this weird little corner space, and I'm not good at leaving things blank. This one was okay for some reason, but this one annoyed me. And so I went digging through my stash of stuff, and I found this little dragonfly charm. And so I just sewed that on to it. You can't tell, but there's a running stitch here and here. I'm still working on relaxing enough to do slow stitching. It's still a little bit of a mental struggle for me. But I sewed some buttons onto the center because I wanted to use some buttons. And so that's how the top part is. Well, I had a little scrap of this material left, and I just made a ruffle type thing. You just run a string through, pull it tight, and it ruffles. I put that at the bottom, kind of like a flower box, if you will. Yeah. So then I took this piece of lace and I put it at the bottom, and it gave me an opportunity to add in some more of my button stash that I've had for 20 years at the bottom. And when I was sewing these on, it wasn't conscious, but I ended up going from lightest to darkest. It wasn't conscious, but I think those turned out really well. And so, yeah, so that's basically the front of the tag. I did it as a flip up because I had a lot to say, and so yeah. And then I didn't like the back, and so I just stitched on a piece. There's little teeny weeny French knots that go all the way down the side, and then that helped me stitch this little piece of remnant lace onto the back here. And see, I don't like that. We're gonna cut that off. Hold on. I don't like that right there. There, that's better. Anyway, so that covers up my yuck. And then, so that's my tag this week, you guys. What do you think? I'm having so much fun seeing everybody's. I kind of like the philosophy of Anne now. There's so many of us doing it. I was trying to comment on every single person I ran across that did it. Now I'm trying to at least give likes and hearts and stuff like that. But I try to look as many as I can because you guys are all so amazing and so inspiring. And we're all so different, but we're all so much the same. And it's so funny to watch that, or to see, funny in a good way, the vast differences in all of us. And there are professionals, and there are newbies like me, and there's every gamut in between. And you can't tell the difference. You cannot tell the difference between the new people and the old pros at this, because everybody's style is so different, and it's just been, it's so fun. It's so inspiring. So that is my tag for this week, and I will read through what it says on the back. I really tried hard to keep this tag more simple than the others I've made. Maybe simple isn't the right word since it took me hours to make this, so maybe the word should be clean or less cluttered. Honestly, this was one of the more challenging ones, funnily enough, as I really struggled to make the yo-yos, which little kids apparently can do. Figures I would have trouble with the easy part. I got to use a bunch of the stuff I have in my stash that I have had forever. I love that this challenge gives me permission to dig through all my pretty things and finally use them to make something, in my opinion, even prettier. I'm proud of myself for putting myself out there to share what I have learned and the struggles and what I struggle with. And even though it's sometimes scary to share, it's always more rewarding than I ever thought it would be. I love that I have met so many people that are just learning to do this stuff too. The internet really is an amazing place. I would have been totally alone doing this without it, and how sad would that have been? Heck, I wouldn't have even known about it. So much kindness and support right at our fingertips. Truly wonderful. All right, you guys, another week in the books, man. Woo! I'm having so much fun. I can't wait to see what you guys are doing. I am off to start checking out the hashtag 52 tags handmade, HANNEMADE. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.